For a while, I was that person that needed to control, right? It took me a minute to really understand I'm the problem. It's not my kids. I'm not understanding their needs.
Welcome, my friends, to the Teacher's Lounge, where the coffee is strong, the ideas are buzzing, and the conversation is even stronger. I'm your host, Mick Love, and we're here to discuss how culture, created in the classroom or the boardroom, can elevate us all. I have some fantastic guests that will join me in having this conversation, and I look forward to it. So sit back, relax, and grab your favorite beverage, because this riveting conversation is one you don't want to miss. Now, I know you're probably sitting back and you're wondering, how does movement apply to education? How does movement apply to the real world? Well, I've got some great experts here to handle that question for you. But they're not experts because they know it all, but they're willing to explore it all. And so today I have with me Josh Patterson and Lindsay Schroeder, who will discuss how movement impacts culture. Thank y'all for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
I'm so glad that y'all here to talk about this idea. And the movement seems like an easy concept. Everybody hears it, and on face value, we take it for what it's worth.
Right.
In education, though, it has a little different connotation. Softball. What is movement to you, Lindsay?
Engaging your body.
How does it enhance our ability to anchor concepts and learn?
It can help with retention. It can help with focus. So for me, I always need something to do with my hands. I find that I retain the concepts more, or I'm paying closer attention to what I'm doing versus if I'm just sitting here with nothing to do, because then I'm anxious and I want to move or I want to fidget or I want to bounce. So for me, it's more about retention and focus. I can pay better attention to what you're talking about or what I'm reading or what I'm listening if I have some form of movement.
Now, why is that so important? Because if we want to create a culture where our students thrive, where our employees thrive, where our educators thrive, why is that versatility so important?
I think engagement is everything that we do. We talk a lot about time and attention, and in the classroom, the time and attention that you're able to keep the focus on your lesson or your activity, or even in the workplace on your task, the more successful you're going to be. So I really feel like there's something to that. Movement creates engagement, and especially if movement, like for me, I can really relate to the fidgeting with something. Mine's leg bouncing. I cannot stop bouncing my leg 90% of the time.
No judgment.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But if you're able to create an environment where, especially in the classroom, your kids feel like they can move, maybe they won't be as distracted by the common pain point of cell phones or whatever else might be distracting a child from the outside world.
Now, this concept of chaos, right, tends to enter into the room. It enters the chat, so the kids would say, when we start to talk about movement. As an educator, as a facilitator, as a guide, business professional, how do you eliminate that idea?
So when you're trying to control the environment or the room, that's about you not being able to be successful in that situation. It's about the people that you're working with and their ability to learn and engage, to your point. So you have to let go of some of that control or what you think it should look like, and allow people to learn in ways that make sense for them, or you may never unlock what they're truly good at because you've put them in this box of sitting at this desk, and that doesn't work. I think of it with my son, who never sits at circle time. He paces. And thankfully he has a teacher that allows him to pace, and he actually learns the material that way. If she was to make him sit, he would learn 0.
And so how do you continuously create that environment to where students feel like they can contribute, but they feel free to do so?
I really think we have to be in tune with ourselves to know that when we need to have a break, or we need to stand up, or we need to stretch, or whatever it might be, that our kids are probably experiencing those same feelings.
Yeah.
And they're needing to get up and wiggle and stretch and talk, and maybe they got things going on in their life too that you need to let it out a little bit and let the kids decompress before they can be ready to enter the space of learning. Because just like us as adults, sometimes when we get to work right off the bat, we may be thinking about all the things that happened to us leading up to that point, and it's tough to refocus and get yourself engaged again. And I think kids go through the same things that we do.